What's going on, everyone? So, per reports, the Los Angeles Lakers are one of the teams that are interested in Malcolm Brogdon and bringing that Malcolm Brogdon to add to the bench depth and just overall roster and rotation. I would love to have Malcolm Brogdon. I mean, he is the exact, and I mean exact, type of player that the Lakers need, really slotted alongside Luka Doncic, right? That defensive, big, physical defensive guard that can shoot the ball, career 40% three-point shooter, that can just, defend 1 through 3 for you. Biggest issue with Malcolm Brogdon is just his health. Like, you don't know if he's going to play 20 games for you or if he's going to play 70 games for you, right? He hasn't played 70 games in a long time, but you get the point, right? Like, that's the problem, is you don't know how many games and how many minutes you're going to be able to play him before he starts breaking down and falling apart. I mean, he's 32 years old. He'll be 33 kind of, 2 months into the season. So he's older, but he's not like so old where it's like, oh man, this guy, he's 36, 37, where it's like, he probably only has, a year left or two. No, like, this is a guy that if he could like get his health right, could be a real piece for, sign him to a 2-year deal, right? And it would make a ton of sense. And a guy that can slot in off the bench in a backup role, or even again alongside a Luka Doncic, would be fantastic. Have that big physical kind of versatile guard that can slot in, defend, and play off ball and shoot 40% from three-point range. He's a guy that can initiate the offense, make the occasional play. He's not really looked at as this wheel and deal playmaker, but he's a guy that can make plays, run an offense. He's a veteran, has experience, been there, done that, can be that point of attack defensive piece, as well as a guy that would be beautiful slotted alongside Luka and LeBron, right? Like, Malcolm Brogdon is the type of guard or point guard that has had success throughout the history, particularly alongside LeBron James, right? You think of George Hill and Mario Chalmers, Norris Cole, and Avery Bradley and those kind of guys where it's like, you initiate, boom, bring him in, and then he's playing off ball, being that 3-and-D style guard. And the Lakers could use that badly. Malcolm Brogdon is one of those guys. You're not signing him for anything crazy. He's going to be on a vet minimum deal. I mean, look, there were talks about Lakers trading for Malcolm Brogdon at the trade deadline, and no one, if they would have done that, no one would have been like, oh, what a late night. Everyone would be like, great, right? Like, he's a guy that would have solved a lot of the Lakers' issues and still would solve a lot of the Lakers' issues, right? And so, can you work that out? I'd probably like DeAnthony Melton, because yes, DeAnthony Melton is coming off of a significant injury, an ACL tear, which isn't as bad as it once was, even like 5 years ago. I mean, that used to be a career-ending injury. Now it's like, it's kind of the norm. Technology and medicine and all that stuff kind of solves that, fix, you're good, back to new and improved. But he just has a better injury history, right? He's a little smaller, but still gives you that 3-and-D style guard that can initiate, make plays, basically gives you a smaller Malcolm Brogdon. And he was really good for the Warriors last year before the injury. Can he kind of, come back and kind of get back to that version of DeAnthony Melton? Honestly, I wouldn't hate if you brought in both of them, right? Like, you got both on like a vet minimum. If the Lakers are able to clear up enough roster spots, supposedly the Lakers are working on a consolidation trade to free up cap space, as well as free up a roster spot or two. So, I mean, if you could do enough, wave shake Milton and clear off 2 guys off your roster, now you have 2 open roster spots, right? I wouldn't hate the idea if you brought in a Malcolm Brogdon and a DeAnthony Melton, especially if you're getting off of Gabe Vincent and some of these other guys. Malcolm Brogdon could slot in at your 2 or your point in the backup role. Same thing with DeAnthony Melton. Both guys could slot in at either guard position for you, so you could literally have both of those guys coming off the bench. Just give you kind of that OKC version where you just have these waves of defensive two-way guards that can be that point of attack, hit the open 3, and play off of their star. Well, in this case, you'd have LeBron James and Luka Doncic, and then to a lesser degree, you'd even have an Austin Reeves. So if this is something that they can pull off, then I'd be more than happy to see them pull that off. Again, it's just the biggest problem with Malcolm Brogdon is just the health, right, or lack thereof. He's a guy that just he hasn't been this model of health. He hasn't been this guy that you can count on to play significant games. I mean, even last year, in a bit of a down year, right, he still was 13-4-4. Right, like, he's a guy that again, gives you some real production. He's a career 15, 4, and 5 guy. Was looked at as kind of like the prototype of that 3-and-D style guard, a guy that just every team in the league would have wanted to have. And I mean, he was paid as such. But now he's kind of getting into the tail of his career, and he's probably not getting more than a vet minimum from anybody. You look at last year with the Washington Wizards, 24 games played, 13 games started. That's the problem. The most games he has ever played in a season is 75 games, and that was his rookie season back with Milwaukee. Played 75 games, started 28 of them. Right, the most since then was 67 games that he played 3 years ago with his last stint in Boston. Now, if he's giving you 65 games, somewhere in that range, he'd be fine, right? Even like 60 games I'd be okay with if he's healthy come playoff time. Like if you had a crystal ball and you told me like, hey, Malcolm Brogdon, Lakers are going to bring him in. He's going to play 60 games off the bench in a bench role, but he's going to be fully healthy throughout the course of the playoffs, all the way through an NBA championship, right? Sign me up. Let's go. But unfortunately, we don't know that. So you're kind of taking a risk with him, but on a vet minimum, it might be worth it, right? Like if you could count on, let's say I knew DeAnthony Melton and Malcolm Brogdon, both are available. Let's say you told me both of them are going to play 60 games. Or let's say you said DeAnthony Melton's going to play 70 games. Malcolm Brogdon's going to play 60 games. But both guys will be healthy throughout the course of the playoffs. I would take Malcolm Brogdon. Because again, he gives you everything that you want from DeAnthony Melton, but he's a better three-point shooter and he's bigger. Right? So again, it gives you just kind of that versatility. I mean, you could slot Malcolm Brogdon at the 3 if you needed to in certain matchups and lineups, and you could get away with it, right? Like he's a guy that could handle that, has the experience, has been there, done that, has been in playoff runs. He's a guy that I would love to have on the Lakers if you can get him on a vet minimum contract. Supposedly Lakers kind of waiting around to see what Bradley Beal does, and that makes sense because if you land a Bradley Beal, you might not have as big of a need for some of these guys. I mean, I'd still like to go get a DeAnthony Melton and Malcolm Brogdon because, like I said, you got Bradley Beal be your backup 2 or starting 2 and have Reeves kind of be your backup point. But either way, Malcolm Brogdon, you could have kind of play, again, either guard spot. So let's just, for argument's sake, say Austin Reeves is your starting 2, Bradley Beal is going to be your backup 2, and then you have a Malcolm Brogdon be your backup 1. Perfect. You got Malcolm Brogdon, right? You got, a Bradley Beal, whatever, Jared Vanderbilt or Zach, or, a Jake LaRavia. I don't know where I got Zach from. Jake LaRavia. And then, solve your 5 spot. You're good shape. Or Jake LaRavia could even be your backup 4 because he's 6'8" in size, right? He could be that. And the Jared Vanderbilt could be your 3, and boom. Now you're just starting to get there little by little, right? So I would prefer that if the Lakers could pull that off. But again, getting back into his production, 24 games played, 13 games started, 23 and a half minutes per game, took 10 field goal attempts per game, which is the fewest of his career since his rookie season, by the way. 43.3% from the floor, shot 2.3 attempts, which is, again, the fewest of his career. Right? The closest he's came to 2.3 attempts was his rookie season, in which he took 2.6 attempts. Now, he shot 28.6% from three-point range. Now, again, this is a guy that is a career 39% three-point shooter. He was a career 40% free throw shooter until last year he shot so poorly. You look at the last 2 years between Portland and Boston, he shot 41.2% on 5.1 attempts and 44.4% on 4.4 attempts. So he's a guy that, again, can give you, he's had multiple seasons into the 40s, not just at 40, but into the 40s. So the 28.6% is by far the worst shooting percentage he's had. He's had one other season in which he shot 31.2%. And even that, that 3% is a big difference. So this was by far. So what was that is the question. Was that just he was dealing with injuries? Was it an issue? Was it he's just on the decline? Is it that he just didn't get the reps up? Right? So again, he took 2.3 attempts. He's a career 4.2 guy. So literally he took half the attempts he's used to. And especially you look at the last few years, he's averaging anywhere from 5 to 6 attempts per game. So almost double, if not triple, the attempts that he's used to. A lot of times that can kind of mess with your rhythm, especially when you're not getting the amount of attempts. So if you go in a cold streak, right, and especially when you're only playing, 24 games, if the first 6 games you just awful, right? You're like 0 of 6 every game or 0 of 3 every game, right? Like, and then all of a sudden, the last 18 games, you're starting to climb back up. Now it's like 1 of 3. Now it's 2 of 3. And then, the last 6 games you're going 3 of 3. Like, that all kind of averages out. It's like, oh, okay, it was 28%. Where if he played the entirety of the season, right, played 60 games, would he have kind of climbed back up to that 40%? It's possible. Also, you got to keep in mind, you're playing alongside LeBron James and Luka Doncic, so the quality of looks that you're going to get are like anything he's ever gotten before, Milwaukee, Indiana, Boston, or Portland, or even Washington last year. But 2-point range, 7.7 attempts, 47.8%, so basically 48%. Free throw shooting, he's a career 88% free throw shooter, and he shot 88% on just under 4 attempts, grabbed 4 rebounds, 4 assists, half a steal, half a block, and 12.7 points per game. If you can go get Malcolm Brogdon, go get Malcolm Brogdon. He would be fantastic on the Lakers. But let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So we enjoy these types of videos. I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.